ॐ सहनः भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये चैतन्यं सर्वगं सर्वं सर्वभूतगुहाशयम् यत्सर्वविषयातीतं तस्मै सर्वविदे नमः। We'll read the first verse, second verse. Aham pratyaya bijam yat aham pratyayavad sthitam naham pratyayavanyushtam katham karma prarohati. दुष्टवच्चेत् प्ररोहः स्यात् नान्यकर्मा स इष्यते तन्निरोधे कथं तस्यात् पृच्छामो वस्तदुच्यता। अहम प्रत्यवीयम यद aham pratyavasitam karma. All of this is about the karma. The nature of karma is being described here. Aham pratyaya bijam. Aham pratyaya means ahankara or antahkaranam, where the ahankara or aham vritti is. That karma which has the bija or the seed in aham pratyaya or ahankara is the or the sense of kartatvam, doership. The bija or seed of karma, cause of karma. Aham pratyavasyatam, and that karma is sthitam, located in aham pratyavat, in antahkaranam, which possesses this aham pratyaya, ahankara. So ahankara is the cause of karma, and that karma is seated in the ahankara or in the antahkarana. So this is the nature of karma. Meaning that karma requires, nama karma must have a cause, which is ahankara or kartritva buddhi, and karma must have a location, which is antahkarana. Naham pratyavanyustam. Na aham pratyaya. Na aham karta. Naham bhokta. I am not karta. I am not bhokta. Aham Brahma. Sakartru, abhoktru, Brahma I am pratyaya. So when that pratyaya takes place, when that cognition takes place, when that knowledge takes place, because that is a knowledge of the true nature of the self, so it has to take place today or tomorrow. As long as one has value for that knowledge will take place today or tomorrow because one, for that knowledge is most important for one. It's likely that the preparation needed for knowledge would take time. And therefore, knowledge may not take place right away, but as long as one has value for the knowledge, one has value for the means of that knowledge, and one is striving, then that knowledge has to take place because it is the nature of the true nature of the self. Naham pratyaya, that cognition, that knowledge, naham, I am not, meaning naham karta, naham bhokta, akartru, abhoktru, brahmahamasmi. That excellence, that is compared to vanni or fire. So his knowledge is compared to fire. That is because Lord Krishna also compares it to fire. Jnanagni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurde tatha. So jnana is compared to agni or fire. And fire will burn, or at least fire will roast, even if the fire does not burn the seed. Fire roasts the seed, and therefore the capacity of the seed to give rise to a sprout, the germinating capacity, the vitality of the seed is destroyed by fire. So even though the seed may be there in form, it has lost all its effectiveness and therefore cannot produce its effect. It's a very typical example here, an important and beautiful example. Katham karma prarohati. A seed which has been roasted by fire, even though in form the seed is there, it cannot germinate into a sprout. So even though karma is there, like sanchita karmas are there, karma in the form may not get destroyed, but the effect in the karma to produce seed or karma phala, that gets destroyed by the fire of knowledge. Katham karma prarohati. So karma, which is like a seed, like a roasted seed, how can it sprout? How can it give rise to the karma phala? Drishtavachet prarohasyat. Now this is said about karma in general. But now we find that karma is more than of one category. We find that karma does give rise to the results. Drishtavat. So we find that in case of wise people, bhikshatanadi karma. So a wise person, called Jivan Mukta, also performs karma, like bhikshatanam, like begging the food, eating the food, drinking water, all these day-to-day normal activities are carried out. And those karmas do give rise to result. When he eats food, that appeases hunger. Drinks water, that quenches the thirst. Lifts his leg, he is able to walk. So these are all these ordinary day-to-day karma. What is the karma? Carried out at the level of organs of perception, organs of action. And we find that those karmas do give rise to the result. Drishtavat. So then we find in wise people karma giving rise to results. Earlier you said that katham karma prarohati. For a wise person, how can karma give rise to result at all? So we find karmas giving rise to the result. Now, Then we have to distinguish these two kinds of karma. Anya karma saishyate. So now the Vedantin divides karma into two categories. Karma, which has lost the capability of germinating into results, and karma that has not lost the capability. In spite of knowledge, there is some karma which is capable of giving rise to result. Anya karma is called prarabdha karma. So even though the normal rule about karma was stated, that in presence of the self-knowledge, karma cannot give rise to the karma phala. Now we will divide the karma into two categories. There are some karmas. It is true that generally karma does not give rise to the karma phala in presence of self-knowledge, but then there are some karma of a different category. They do give rise to this. So the karma, the result that you see of eating, drinking, walking, talking in case of a wise person, anya karma, there are different kinds of karma. That praroha anya karma, that anya karma is the adjective of praroha, that sprout, or the result. That this walking, talking, eating, drinking karma, the wise person, they do bring about they do germinate into results. It's because that praroha, that sprout is anya karma of a different karma. Result of different karma called prarabdha karma. Tan nirode katham tat syat prachamo vastaducyatam. You yourself just say that karma gets roasted, the seed. Not only that, but you say that ignorance dispels, knowledge dispels ignorance. And when ignorance is dispelled, then all the products of ignorance also get destroyed. So even antahkarana also is the product of ignorance. Aham vritti, of course, is a product of ignorance. So if ignorance dispels, knowledge dispels ignorance, then the products of ignorance, antahkarana also cannot remain. So very ashraya, very locus of that karma is not there. So how can karma remain when its seed is not there and locus? There are two things are there. Ahankara is a seed. Kartrutva, bhokta, cause of karma. Antahkarana is ashraya, is a locus of karma. So when the knowledge takes place, that ahankara is, as I said yesterday, the product of the jiva sushti. Antahkarana is the product of Ishvara sushti. But for ourselves, we want to distinguish them. The knowledge takes place in jiva and destroys ahankara, which is jiva sushti. But anyway, if you do not distinguish between two sushtis, only one sushti is there, which is product of ignorance, that entire sushti created by ignorance will be destroyed, including antahkaranam. Antahkarana, which is the ashraya, the locus of karma, when that gets destroyed, karma has no locus to stand, therefore karma also gets destroyed. Ashraya is destroyed, ashritam is destroyed. This is the argument. But here we find that karma also is there and antahkarana also is there for a wise person. So knowledge also is there. Which knowledge is there and still karma, karma phala, antahkarana, everything is there. So products of ignorance also are there. Looks like knowledge and ignorance, both of them go together for a jivan mukta. Then nirode katham tat syat. When, as you just said, that knowledge dispels ignorance and therefore the products of ignorance, knowledge of rope dispels the bhrama of the delusion of snake and fear and everything born of snake also. Katham tatsyat. In that case, that tan nirodhe. So, when the antahkarana is destroyed in the wake of knowledge, katham tasyat, how can karma that is dependent upon the locus of antahkarana, how can that also be? Vaha puchhamaha, that's what we are asking. Taduchtam, may you please explain? So this question answer is, as I said, a bhumika to help us understand that even though karma is a karma, and still the Vedanta accepts two kinds of karma, at least. Uttaramaha, the reply to the question is in the third verse. It says, Dehadyarambha samarthyad jnanam sadvishayam tvayi abhibhuya phalam kuryat karmante jnanamudbhave. Dehadi arambha samarthyat sadvishayam jnanam tvayi phalam abhibhuya kuryat. Tvayi sadvishayam jnanam. So teacher replies to a disciple, Tvayi in you, sadvishayam jnanam, the knowledge of Sat or Brahma, knowledge of Brahma, that knowledge, that knowledge, dehadi arambha samarthyat abhibhuya. The knowledge is overpowered by karma. There is a specific kind of karma. What karma? Dehadi arambha samarthyat. This karma is called prarabdha karma. This samarthyam, the ability. Dehadi arambha, to initiate this deha. So this present body is initiated, commenced by specific kind of karma called the prarabdha karma. And prarabdha karma, which is the ability to produce this body, also is the ability to overpower that knowledge. Karmante, when that prarabdha karma gets exhausted, so prarabdha karma is its own cause. Over and above ignorance, there is something other else also that gives rise to prarabdha. So when that cause is destroyed, then prarabdha karma gets exhausted, then jnana udbhavet, then full knowledge. The knowledge that cannot be overpowered, that knowledge arises. That's how the wise person gets liberated in the ultimate sense. So just as there are categories of karma, sanchita karma and prarabdha karma, so also there are categories in liberation. Jivan mukta and videha mukta. It's called videha kaivalyam, videha mukti. And you can say there is moksha in the primary sense. As far as onlookers are concerned, it may appear that the wise person is restricted in his freedom by his body. The body poses many limitations because of which he cannot do what he would have liked to do, let us say, looks like. So from this standpoint of onlookers, the body of a wise person appears to be a restricting factor in his freedom. Therefore, even that apparent bondage of the body also goes away. as far as the wise person himself is concerned, for him the body is not the bondage. His freedom is not a strict body. Because he doesn't want to, so he can't fly, he doesn't care to fly. Thing is that it is true that the body presents many restrictions, but that is the problem with an ignorant person who thinks that freedom is in flying. Freedom is in doing various things, and there are various activities. That's called freedom. So ignorant person has his own definition of freedom. Of reaching where I want to do, knowing what I want to do, I want to know what's going on there, what's going on in your mind, all this stuff. So an ignorant person thinks that that is called freedom, to be able to do what I want to do. Wise person doesn't have that. Doesn't want to do. He doesn't think that doing something or not doing something is going to add to his fullness. An ignorant person who is inadequate, incomplete, lacking, wanting inside, thinks that achieving something at the level of body will help him overcome that lack or want. Therefore he wants it. Wise person knows that I am free by nature. I am not free because of some other condition like body or mind or upadhi. That the condition of upadhi neither adds the freedom into me nor subtracts any freedom from me. So as far as wise person is concerned, the upadhi is not of a concern to him as far as his freedom is concerned. And still the Upanishad accepts that body is some kind of restriction as far as full freedom is concerned. Tasya tavadeva charam yavandamimokshe atha sampatsye. He has to wait that long as his body is not liberated or body is not ended. When the body is ended, then he is free, completely becomes one with Sat. Sampatsye. As though he is not one with Sat when the body was there. But anyway, so that seems to show that the body is some kind of an obstacle. And that final obstacle also goes away, then karmante jnanamudbhavet. Karma or prarabdha karma, when that also gets exhausted, when its cause goes, then jnanam bhave, that full jnanam, unrestricted knowledge and manifests, and that's how the wise person becomes free in total sense. If you accept that Videha Kaivalyam is moksha, then this is the argument. So Tika says, Tvai sad vishayam jnanam abhibhuya. It's all accusative case, by the way. Sad vishayam, because jnanam etc. is neuter, therefore you don't know whether it is prathamanta or dvitiyanta. Sad vishayam pramana janitatvena prabsad vishayam sad vishaya yasya tat sad vishayam. That knowledge of which Sat is a Vishaya. Sat means Astivhadi Brahma is a Vishaya. Sat Vishayam Jnanam, the knowledge of which Sat or Brahma is Vishaya, meaning Brahma Jnanam, knowledge of Brahman. Sat is knowledge of Sat or knowledge of Brahman. Pramana Janitatvena Prabalamapi. This Jnanam is Prabalam. Brahma Jnanam is Prabalam. Is the most powerful knowledge, because no other pramanam, perception, etc. That even though there is apparent duality, all that cannot in any way negate the fact that there is one non-dual reality. That's all there is. So pramana janatatvena, this knowledge, every knowledge is one pramanam. But this is ultimate pramanam, Shastra. So Sadvishayam Jnanam, the knowledge of Brahman, one non-dual, is born of the pramanam of Upanishad, therefore Prabalamapi. So it cannot be overcome by anything. Cannot be overcome by anything, not by perception, not by any other means of knowledge or any other knowledge. Even though it is so powerful, still Brahmatma Vishayam Jnanam Abhibhuya. Sad Vishayam, Brahmatma Vishayam. That Brahma is Atma, the knowledge of Brahman is Atma. Jnanam Abhibhuya, even that knowledge which is most powerful also is overpowering that knowledge. What is meant by overpowering the knowledge? Not allowing the knowledge to do its job. What is the job that knowledge is supposed to do? Videhe kaivalya rupat phalat prachavya. Knowledge is a means of moksha. Means freedom in every way. Videhe kaivalyam. The kaivalyam, the freedom, the non-duality of the nature of freedom even from the body, which is what the knowledge is supposed to give, because body is product of ignorance. Knowledge dispels ignorance, and therefore all this should go away. But this karma does not allow even Brahmajnanam also to exert its complete influence. Does not permit Brahmajnanam to produce that moksha. What karma? Prarabdha lakshanam karma. Karma of which nature is prarabdha. So now this karma is distinguished. Anya karma. Now karma is distinguished as karma and prarabdha karma. So it is sanchita karma and prarabdha karma. Swaphalam, dehabhasa, jagadabhasa, rupa, dehadi, arambha samarthyat. The prarabdha karma is samartham. The ability, dehadi, arambha, to create body, etc., arambha, to create, commence. Even body is created, dehabhasa, jagadabhasa. The Ajnanam cannot create anything real. Ajnanam can only create an appearance. So ignorance, which results into karma, prarabdha karma, creates body, but appearance of body, appearance of creation, meaning that this mithya body, mithya jagat is created by prarabdha karma, which is product of ignorance. Tvai jnanavati kuryadeva. In you who has the knowledge, in you also that prarabdha karma will overpower the effect of karma and will impose its own effect, namely the body and this life. Meaning that even knowledge also cannot prevent prarabdha karma from giving rise to its effect. Kuta? Why is it so? Deharambhadi samarthyat, dehadi arambha samarthyat, dehadi arambham prati samarthatvat, because the prarabdha karma has the capability of producing deha. Ante jnanam udbhavet. Ante prarabdha karma phala bhogavasane sati, when that prarabdha karma comes to end, jnanam udbhavet. Jnanam pratibandharahitam samudbhavet udbhutam bhavati, then the jnanam without any obstruction. So prarabdha karma is an obstruction to the jnanam. So not only avaranam and samshaya and vikshepa. The prarabdha karma is part of vikshepa. And therefore vikshepa dehata buddhi. The remnant, the residual effect of viparita buddhi is still there, and therefore vartaman karya sampadak avidyalesh abhi avadhya. Only when that pratibandhaka of the nature of prarabdha karma goes away, then jnanam is able to bring about its total effect. Until then, jnanam also is prevented from exerting its total effect. So what's the total effect? Vartaman karya sampadaka avidyalesha vyavadya. Vartman karya sampadaka avidyalesha. It's called avidyalesha, which we saw. Sankshepa Sharirika. So in the Advaita Makaranda, in discussion, avidya lesha, the remnant of avidya, ignorance. So prarabdha karma is the product of kartrutva, ignorance. And in spite of knowledge continues to remain there, avidya samskara, avidya lesha, a fraction of avidya as though still remains. Apavadya. So when karma has done its job, then this avidya lesha also is overcome, destroyed. Vidvamsam swarajya sthapayed. Then only jnanam is able to establish a wise person in total freedom. Until then, jnanam also is not able to do. As long as the pratibandha of the nature of prarabdha remains, so long jnanam is not able to establish this wise person in his true nature of total freedom. Meaning that prarabdha karma is an abstraction which comes in the way of even jnanam also in complete fulfillment of its result. All right. You accept the prarabdha karma as its capability. Nanu prarabdha karma sa jnana vibhogasyat. According to you, jnani also has to experience all this sukha dukkha. Bhoga means sukha dukkha sakshatkara. So wise person also should go through pleasure and pain and stuff like that. Prarabdha karma, because of the prarabdha karma, the wise person also has to go through this sukha dukkha, experience of pleasure and pain, etc. Natu anarabdha karma tatphalayo tasmin avasthiti. You said that sanchita karma does not bring about a result for the wise person. Because sanchita karma also is karma. You said sanchita karma is like the roasted seed which is not capable of giving rise to its result. But prarabdha karma is able to give rise to it in spite of the fire of knowledge. So apparently fire of knowledge only roasts some kind of seeds, not other kinds of seeds. Prarabdha karma also is karma. But that seed is not roasted and continues to give rise, even though fire of knowledge is there, prarabdha karma continues to be effective. And sanchita karma is not. Why? Karma is karma. So, iti katham upadyeta. How can it be that the fire of knowledge roasts some kind of seed and does not roast other kind of seed? What's the logic? Ajnana karyatva avisheshat. Karma is karma and karma is product of kartrutva. That's product of ignorance. Ajnana karyatva avisheshat. Prarabdha karma also is a result of ignorance. Sanchita karma also is a result of ignorance. So if both are products of ignorance, in that they are the same, they are similar. Ajnana nivrittau na puna ashraya bhavena avasthana bhavasya samatvad. You said that when ignorance is dispelled, the products of ignorance also get dispelled. Antahkarana is also product of ignorance. So along with destruction of ignorance, antahkarana also should get destroyed. So if sanchita karma is devoid of its locus, antahkarana, the prarabdha karma also should suffer the same fate. Now how do you say prarabdha karma behaves in one way and sanchita karma in another way? Iti ashankya visheshamaha. Vishesha. So what's the difference between prarabdha karma and Sanchita karma. So we are told in the fourth verse, Arabdasya phale hyete bhogo jnanam cha karmanah avirodastayor yuktah vaidharmyam chetarasya tu. Bhogo jnanam cha arabdasya karmana phale. Bhoga means what? The experience of pleasure and pain that the wise person has. And jnanam, knowledge also that the wise person has, are both results of prarabdha karma. Even the knowledge also is result of karma, and bhoga also result of karma. Why is it so? But one thing is certain, that this body, human body, is result of prarabdha karma. But knowledge also is result of muktirno shatajanma kodi sukritahi punyar vina labhyate. Unless the virtuous actions of countless births manifest, ripen, mukti cannot take place. So mukti also is said to be result of karma, punya karma. This body also is result of karma, and jnana also is result of karma. That is the position taken here. Arabdasya phale hyete. Not everybody's body is the result of prarabdha karma. Wise person's body is a special kind of prarabdha karma, which prarabdha karma is capable of giving us to knowledge also, create conditions for knowledge. You find that in some people things just work out. From childhood itself, everything works out. Prarabdha seems to be very favorable to them. From childhood, for some point on, everything goes in their favor, and then, so they seem to be blessed specially. So not only they have prarabdha karma which has given us to this body, they seem to special kind of prarabdha karma which is conducive for knowledge also. So knowledge also a result of karma. Bhogo jnanam karmana ete bhogo jnanam ete arabdasya karmana phalam. Now this is something we may not know, but this is what is said here. That both the experience of pleasure and pain, which is presented by prarabdha in terms of situations, and jnanam also, both are results of prarabdha karma. Therefore they can coexist. Since both of them are products of same karma, prarabdha karma, therefore they are not opposed to each other. Therefore, karma and jnanam, in case of wise person, are not opposed to each other. Therefore they can coexist. Therefore prarabdha karma coexists with jnana. Sanchita karma cannot coexist with jnanam because sanchita karma has not yet begun to give rise to its result. Sanchita karma is purely products of the kartrutva. Prarabdha karma is product of kartrutva, as well as the fact that they have already started producing the results. That is how prarabdha karma is special kind of karma. And therefore, that prarabdha karma and jnana are not opposed to each other, they can coexist. Vaidharmyam cha itarasya tu. Sanchita karma is vaidharmyam, it's a different dharma. Sanchita karma is all roasted. Prarabdha karma is not roasted. And therefore, sanchita karma is opposed to jnanam, prarabdha karma is not opposed to jnanam. So vaidharmyam, that way they have different dharmas. Therefore the rule that applies to prarabdha karma, rule that applies to sanchita karma, does not apply to prarabdha karma. That's what Vedanta says. So Tikakara says, Bhogo Jnanam cha iti etehi yasmat arabdasya karmana phale. Bhoga, the various experiences the wise person has, called bhoga. So apparently wise person also has to go same pleasure, heat and cold and stuff like that. And jnanam, knowledge of course, the person has. Iti yasmat arabdasya karmana phale. It's taken for granted that we know this. That jnanam also is a result of karma, imagine. Because in spite of, Shravanam etc., jnanam does not necessarily take place. Shrutvapyenam vedana chaiva kaschida. Even though listening to scripture, there is someone who doesn't know. So Shravana also doesn't have any effect because of the obstacles. So those obstacles are there because the favorable karma is not there. Papa karma is there, which creates the obstacles and does not allow the jnana sadhanam to be effective. So not only you require just effort, you also require the favor of special karma. You can call it favor of Ishvara. It is true that by our effort we can create new karmas to neutralize the effect of the negative karmas. That's why we are told to do bhakti, told to do yajna, samarpana, seva, nishkam karma, etc. But that even in spite of nishkam karma, we may not be able to eliminate all the negative karmas. Possible. That process may take more than one birth, we do not know. Anika janma samsiddha tato yadi param gatim. Even this process of doing punya, good karma, may require effort over number of births. Tato yadi param gatim. And it attains paragati. And so we require Ishvara Anugraha, definitely. But then Anugraha in the form of the prarabdha karma also is required. It depends on how much papa karma we have inherited. How much obstacles we will overcome. That papa karma comes in the way of even your effort. The negative karma does not allow me to do things also. Rajas tamas is there. It does not allow me to, chanchalam manah krishna pramati balavadridam. And therefore, a lot of helplessness is there in spite of your own desires. So idea is that even though one makes a sincere effort, there is no rule that that effort may be successful in one lifetime. It will be successful today or tomorrow. But knowledge may not take place in a given lifetime because of pratibandhaka, obstructions. And obstructions, you can call it papa karma, raga dvesha, whatever you call it, tamas, rajas tamas, is all result of papa previous karma. In that sense, jnana also is a result of karma. Karma creates favorable conditions for knowledge to take place. So knowledge is not a result of karma, but knowledge requires not only means of knowledge, shravanam, mananam, etc., amanitvam, adambitvam, etc., but then favorable conditions that amanitvam should take place. Therefore, in case of wise person in whom the knowledge has taken place, that knowledge also is a result of prarabdha karma, and his body and experiences he goes through also are a result of prarabdha karma. So, bhogo jnanam cha edehi yasmat arabdasya karmana safale. both the knowledge as well as the karma phala are results of prarabdha karma. So, avirodha yukta, therefore it is quite appropriate that they are not opposed to each other. They can coexist because they are the branches of the same stem. Itarasya tu, but anarabdasya, sanchitasya, itara, other karma. Which karma? Anarabdha karma, which has not yet started giving rise to result called sanchita karma. So we know that prarabdha is only part of sanchita karma. And sanchita accumulated karma, of which a small part has started giving rise to result, which has resulted in this body and this life. Rest still remains to be experienced, in our account in the form of seed. It's like a fixed deposit, it was not yet matured, Part of it is matured. Kriyamanasya, other karma is the karma that a wise person performs. That also does not produce a result because this karma is only apparently there is no kartrutva there. So, sanchitasya, kriyamanasya va karma vaidharmyam, vaiparityam, virodha, vaidam virodha. Therefore, those two karmas, the sanchita and kriyamana karma, have a different dharma. What's the dharma? That they do not produce result because there is no kartrutva there. Whereas prarabdha is the result of those karmas which had kartrutva as a basis. Ayam bhava. So the Tikakara explains, Jnanam is swakarana jayamanam shriradi sapekshamiva jayate. Jnanam swakarana, jnanam is born of its own reason, causes, namely Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Shariradi sapekshamiva jayate. So Jnanam requires a human body. Without that, the knowledge cannot take place. Asharirasya agantuka jnana asambhavat. So Jnanam is agantukam. It's not that you are born with Jnanam. Jnanam comes in your life. And that can happen only if you have a human body, not otherwise. Shriradikam tu na jnana karanat utpadyate. So the different kinds of karmas are there. I don't know why they say that Sharirad na jnana karanat utpadyate. His body is not the product of jnana karanam. If jnana karanam is shravanadi, then the body is not the result of that jnana karanam. Or if jnana may result from a specific kind of karma, punya karma, Sharira is not a result of that one, it's different. Prarabdha karma, all right, but then Sharira is a result of one karma because everybody has Sharira. If the cause of Jnanam and cause of Sharira is the same, then wherever Sharira is, knowledge should take place. We find that the human body is there and knowledge is still not there. That shows that the cause of the Sharira is one and cause of Jnanam is different. Therefore, Shariradikam tu na jnana karanat utpadyate. Or jnanam na sharira karanat utpadyate. The jnanam is not born from the same karma that gives rise to body. Anya karanasya anya hetutva yogat. There's some kind of karma that gives rise to body, some kind of karma that gives rise to knowledge. Meaning jnanam has result, is caused in karma of a different kind, and body is caused by a karma of a different kind. Atah kaischit karma visheshai sharira visheshe jnanotpatti yogye. Atah kaischit karma visheshai, by some specific karma, jnanotpatti yogye swasharire swafadana arabdhe sati. There was some specific kind of karma which is given as to body, which is the jnanotpatti yogyam shariram. the sharira or body which is fit for arising of the knowledge. Every body is not like that. A Ramana Maharshi may be like that. A Tapovan Maharaj may be like that, etc., etc. Everybody is not like that. So, Jnana Utpatti Yogye Sharira Visheshe, a specific kind of body which is fit for the arising of knowledge. Some special karma must be there. Swafaladana danaya arabde sati. So that kind of prarabdha karma which is given as to this body, which is fit for arising of knowledge. So that prarabdha karma has done this. Jnana hetu karmani. Now other kind of karma which are the means of jnanam. That can be called Shravanam, Mananam, etc., etc. Or the bhakti, etc., the karma which are now you perform, which are jnana hetu. So the prarabdha is given as to body which is fit for jnanam to take place, and then some other karmas are there, part of prarabdha, prarabdha kriyamana karma, which are given as to this knowledge. Jnanam arambhata iti abhibhakti. That, so we have to accept that two kinds of karmas are there. Those karmas that give rise to the human body, which is common for everybody, and those specific kind of karmas that give rise to knowledge. Because in every human body, knowledge doesn't take place. Therefore, the human body has one cause, and jnana has a different cause. It is abhibhagantavya. We have to accept that. So, therefore, there are karma that are given rise to knowledge. Therefore, knowledge cannot destroy them. That's the idea. Tathacha arabdhe dehe tad bhogasya avasyam bhavitvad. So, when the body is now created, the bhoga experiences will take place because of the prarabdha. Bhoga karma arabdha shariram ashritya swahetu samasaridam jnanam swaphalam ajnanavitam kurvadapi. So jnanam also requires a given kind of body. Jnanam also requires a given kind of body, which that prarabdha karma has produced. So jnanam which requires a body which is created by prarabdha karma is not therefore opposed to prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma is given as to body and jnanam. Therefore, swaphalam ajnanavrittim kurvadapi. So Brahma jnanam, even though it eliminates, dispels the ignorance of Brahma, na sadyo bhogaiganasya deharambha karmakshipta vidyalesam nivartayati. And still, that jnanam also does not remove the little bit of prarabdha karma which is given into his body. That jnanam doesn't do that. Meaning that karma which is given as to this body, because of which the jnani got the jnanam, those karmas they coexist along with knowledge, and therefore jnanam does not destroy that karma. Why do you have to go so complicated? I don't know. But anyway, the thing is that prarabdha karma is given as though this is this body. And therefore jnanam does its own job of removing ignorance. Why do you insist it should give rise to eliminate body? But anyway, even if you eliminate, so body is born of prarabdha karma, a special kind of ignorance. So jnanam eliminates ignorance, but the special kind of ignorance, or a part of ignorance which has started giving rise to the body, this is not destroyed. But this is made pretty complex here, that the karmas are there, so jnanam also is of karma, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so bhogikanasya deharambha karma kshipta vidyalesham. That part of avidya which produces prarabdha karma, which can only be destroyed by bhoga. So prarabdha karma are those which can only be removed, eliminated, or will only get exhausted by experiencing the result. Sanchita karma do not require result of experience of result because they are like seeds which are roasted. Prarabdha karma escape that. So prarabdha karma are like those seeds which have given out the sprout. So when the sprout is there, then the fire does not burn that. The sprout has to work itself out. So prarabdha karma has to work itself out. So jnanam does not destroy that part, which is prarabdha karma, which has to give rise to a result. So bhogaika nashya deha. So this deha which can only be removed, eliminated or destroyed by bhoga, other than that, the body will not go. Dhyaranga karma kshipta avidyalesham na nivardayati. The whole avidya is gone, but avidyalesha remains. Which avidyalesha, a little fraction of avidya which is given as to this body, prarabdha and body, and prarabdha is such that it will only get eliminated by experiencing result. So jnanam does not remove that part. Upajivya viroditva abhavat. So you cannot destroy your own sustenance. So therefore, that karma which is sustains in knowledge, that also is not destroyed by knowledge. Iti na arabdha phala karma jnana virodha. Therefore, the arabdha karma phala and jnana, they are not opposed to each other. They can coexist, as we said, because one has already given simple reason, a simple explanation, one started giving rise to a result, another one is not. Or jnanam also result of karma and prarabdha body also result of karma, bhoga also result of karma. Both are result of karma, therefore they can coexist. And therefore this karma has to get exhausted, in which case then, so jnanam is not opposed to this karma, which is prarabdha karma, which requires to be exhausted. And therefore the jnanam is there and prarabdha karma also is there. Sanchita karma and agami karma, not like that. They're different category. Anarabdha phalanam tu karmanam akartru atma tattva jnanode virodhadeva. Whereas anarabdha phalanam tu karmanam, the karma which is not given as to phala, that is sanchita karma, also include the kriyamana karma or agami karma. Tattva jnana uday virodhadeva. They get destroyed as soon as the knowledge takes place. That's a matter of the example. You give example of fire, you can give example of dream also. That as soon as the dreamer wakes up, all the karma done in the dream, he becomes ineffective as far as waker is concerned. Because dream karma are performed by an ignorant, by a person who is no more there. The dreamer was ignorant of his true nature of waker. So when he wakes up to his true nature, then what was done by an ignorant person is no more applicable. That's the example. So also all these sanchita karmas are performed by ignorant karta. He is no more there to experience the result. Therefore, the wise person who is the karta is no more the person who performed those karmas, and he is not liable or responsible for accountable for experiencing those results. So different ways it can be explained. But either fire is the example. If dream and waking is an example, then everything goes away. And so, but anyway, there is something called Jivan Mukti. And when you accept that, then knowledge also is there and bhoga also is there. So this is an explanation of that bhoga, result of prarabdha karma, is not destroyed by jnanam. They can coexist, and that will only be eliminated by experiencing, and then he will be completely free. So, anarabdha phalam karmanam akartru atattva jnanodayat virodhadeva. Those karmas get destroyed as soon as knowledge takes place. Kartutva bhava nivrit Nivruttau ashrayabhavad abhavapattehe. Kartrutva svabhava nivruttau. Kartrutva, which was the notion, product of ignorance, when eliminated by knowledge of Karta Atma, then Kartrutva was the ashraya of those sanchita karma. When Kartva is gone, the karma have no locus, therefore they get destroyed. But Kartrutva and the Arabdhatva, both are the cause of the Prarabdha karma, and therefore, even though Kartrutva is gone, that Arabdhatva is there, and the Arabdhatva will only exhaust itself by fulfilling its effect, so they remain. Na jnana avasthan upadyate. So those karmas cannot coexist with knowledge, whereas this karma coexists with knowledge. Iti asti visheshaha. So even though karma is karma, and still in sanchita karma and prarabdha karma, vishesha is there, difference is there, that one has its source only in kartrutva. When that goes away, sanchita cannot remain. Other one has a source in kartrutva as well as ajnana lesha, which has started giving rise to result. Therefore, that remains. When ajnana lesha also goes away, kartrutva is already badhitam, but ajnana lesha is there. Therefore, this karma or the body remains, bhoga remains as long as ajnana lesha is there, and then that also is destroyed, dispelled. Then wise person gets the total freedom, videha kaivalyam. So this is the explanation of videha kaivalyam. Videha mukti or jivan mukti. Jivan mukti basically is the thing here. So Vedanta accepts jivan mukti, therefore all these very complicated explanation. You have to explain logically, and so all kinds of. But anyway, so logic also is provided here to justify the jivan mukti. We discussed this in Sankshepa Sharirika also. There are people who don't accept it, and there are people who accept it. So you may not accept it also because jnanam should eliminate all the ignorance. But then there is this avidya lesha or avidya samskara, which remains in spite of jnanam, and so jivan mukti is there. And that is a stronger thing, because if jivan mukti is not there, there is no jnana parampara at all. Upadekshante jnanam jnani sattvadarshinaha. Jnani tattvadarshis will give you, impart knowledge to you, provided they are there in the first place. And so accepting the jnana parampara. Namo brahmadivya brahma vidya sampradaya kartrubhya. That brahma vidya sampradaya is there. And therefore, jnaninaha tattva jnana upadekshanti. The wise people will impart knowledge to you because they are wise. And so, this is accepted. Otherwise, there is no jnana parampara, there is no question of knowledge. Ignorant person cannot give you knowledge. Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. When it is told by Ananya, one who is identified with Brahman, then of course the knowledge will take place. If it takes place, otherwise it will not take place. So, we have to accept an entity called wise person who is alive. Otherwise, what's the point? If the moksha happens after the death of this body, you are not liberated, then what have you gained? Vedanta wants something in this life. He is not interested in future. Who knows about what happens after that? Who cares anyway? Why are people so occupied and consumed with what happens after death? Who cares? Because you only know when you are alive. What happens after death is something that you accept in faith. That you are existent is something that you are experience. It makes sense only when moksha is attained in this lifetime. Otherwise it doesn't make any sense at all. Then it's a matter of faith. Then all other religions are based on faith. They're called faiths. Christian faith. So they are called faith because everything is based on faith. You cannot attain your goal in this lifetime. After death, you go to paradise and whatever the goal is. Only Vedanta talks about Jivan Mukti. Here also, all other systems talk about the Dhamma, going to Vaikuntha, etc. That is also after death. But Advaita Vedanta accepts Jivan Mukti. And that only inspires you. If it inspires people that I'll go to Vaikuntha, it inspires you, is well and good. But I would think that one would be inspired that here, now I'll be free and liberated. That's the most inspiring goal. So Jivan Mukti has to be there. There has to be the culmination or the success of life in this life. You are not born for dying or going someplace else. Swamiji says, what's the reason for being born? To grow and to attain the goal of life. Tad Vishnoho paramam padam sodvanah paramapnoti tad Vishnoho paramam padam. Upanishad always say that. So to justify Jivan Mukti, all these arguments are there. That prarabdha karma alone justifies Jivan Mukti. Jivan also is there and Mukti also is there. And that is why prarabdha karma, which is of a category different from other karmas, and so this is a way to explain that. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.